All right, welcome back to the deep dive. You know why you're here? You want to get smarter faster.
And cut through all the noise.
Exactly.
Get right to that essential knowledge.
That's what we're here for. So
I
today,
feel going deep.
we're diving into NVIDIA.
A real tech giant.
Huge influence.
On just about everything. Gaming.
Yeah.
AI.
You name it.
And you shared this piece with us from canvasbusinessmodel.com.
Yeah.
Really solid overview of NVIDIA's whole journey. We're going to try to pull out the big moments.
The turning points.
The aha moments.
Why NVIDIA matters so much.
Yeah, exactly.
In the tech world. And we're going to make it engaging.
Jargon-free. Avoid that.
Absolutely.
So NVIDIA, they start in 1993.
Right in the heart of Silicon Valley. Santa Clara, California.
Jensen Huang, Chris Malachowski, and Curtis Preem.
3 founders with a vision.
Yeah, they really wanted to push graphics and computing technologies forward. And I love this. The name NVIDIA.
Oh, yeah.
It comes from the Latin word invidia.
Meaning envy.
Envy. Bold statement. Right.
I love from the very beginning.
Like, we're going to be so good.
Yeah.
You're going to envy us.
Exactly. And at the start, they were really focused on GPUs for gaming and multimedia, all that.
Right. The hot new thing at the time. And they got noticed quickly.
Yeah, the article talked about that.
Partnered with these huge computer manufacturer software developers.
Right out of the gate.
Yeah, it gave them instant credibility.
And then...
But here's where things get interesting.
1999. GeForce 256.
That's the one.
Watershed moment, the article says.
Changed everything. Introduced hardware transform and lighting.
Okay, so for people who aren't, deep into graphics tech, what did that actually do? Why was that such a big deal?
So before GeForce 256, your CPU, your main processor.
Exactly. It was doing all the work.
All the heavy lifting.
To make those 3D graphics look good, look real.
And it was really struggling.
Oh, yeah, big time. But hardware transform and lighting.
Offloads that to the GPU.
Boom.
Frees up the CPU. Suddenly the visuals in games and everything explode.
Yeah.
Way more detail.
And more lifelike.
It's a fundamental shift in how 3D graphics are made.
So not just a little step forward, but a whole new way of doing things.
Paradigm shift.
Like the article said, a new standard for the entire industry. And for NVIDIA...
Puts them on the map. Serious innovator.
Yeah. And that success with graphics, it kind of set the stage for everything else they did.
Absolutely. They take that expertise in parallel processing, GPU architecture,
Right.
And they go after HPC and AI.
It's like they figured out, okay, we can handle huge amounts of visual data really well.
And guess what?
That's useful for other stuff, too.
All kinds of data-intensive computing.
So 1999 was a big year, not just GeForce 256.
No.
They also had their IPO.
Went public. Huge step.
Chase confidence, right.
Absolutely. And it gives them the resources to grow even faster.
And then a few years later, 2006, CUDA comes along.
Compute Unified Device Architecture.
Yeah.
Another one of those pivotal moments the article talks about.
Absolutely. This feels like more than just making graphics better.
Oh, yeah, much bigger. CDA was about opening up those GPUs.
To do all sorts of things.
General purpose computing.
Not just pretty pictures.
Exactly. It's a software framework, a programming model.
Okay.
So now developers could use NVIDIA GPUs for all sorts of tasks.
And that was huge for AI.
Oh, yeah.
CUDA was like the foundation.
The bedrock for all this AI stuff we're seeing now. It democratized parallel processing, made it accessible to everyone.
So basically, they had this powerful engine.
Built for graphics.
And then they realized, wait a minute.
This thing can do so much more.
Yeah. And then in 2012...
Tesla GPUs. Specifically for HPC and AI.
Makes sense. Cements their position in those growing fields, right?
Makes them the leader.
So where does the article say NVIDIA sits today?
They're a computing platform company.
Okay.
Right at the intersection of graphics, HPC, and AI.
That covers a lot of ground.
Their tech is everywhere. From entertainment
to autonomous vehicles.
Pretty impressive, right? They adapted. They saw where things were going.
Let's dive a bit deeper into that GPU breakthrough. We talked about their role in graphics for gaming and all that.
Right.
But NVIDIA realized those GPUs...
They had potential beyond just visuals.
The article highlights their role in AI, HPC, data science, all through parallel processing. What's the key advantage there?
It's all about how GPUs are built. They have tons of these smaller processing cores, hundreds or even thousands.
Okay.
And they can all work at the same time on different parts of a problem.
Parallel processing.
That's it.
And CPUs, they're different, right?
Totally different. Fewer cores, but each one is way more powerful.
Okay.
They're good for doing things one step at a time.
But for processing tons of data,
The same way.
like rendering pixels, training a neural network.
Parallel processing wins. It's like having a huge team versus a few really strong individuals.
I like that analogy. So they accidentally built this amazing parallel processing engine for graphics.
And then the light bulb went off.
Yeah, and Shishude comes in.
Makes that power accessible to everyone.
Not just having the hardware, but the tools to really use it.
Exactly.
And then deep learning explodes.
AI goes mainstream.
And suddenly everyone needs GPUs.
To train those massive neural networks.
And NVIDIA's right there.
Ready to go?
So it's funny, right? This thing built for better gaming
Ends up driving these cutting-edge advancements.
The article said NVIDIA GPUs became the top choice for AI folks because of that power, that efficiency.
They were in the right place at the right time.
But they didn't just stop there.
No, they are kept innovating.
The article mentioned tensor cores.
Specifically designed to speed up deep learning calculation.
They weren't just riding the AI wave.
They were pushing it forward.
So let's move on to HPC, high-performance computing.
Supercomputers, parallel processing.
Solving those really complex problems super fast.
Exactly.
And the article makes it clear NVIDIA GPUs are perfect for that.
Built for crunching those massive data sets.
Like in scientific research, weather forecasting.
Climate modeling, astrophysics, you name it.
Their architecture was just a natural fit.
And they kept investing in research.
To make those GPUs even better for HPC.
Not just repurposing gaming tech.
Really refining it.
For that specific purpose.
And a CGA, it shows up again.
Yeah.
Becomes the standard for programming in HPC.
Everyone's using it. Shows how valuable it was.
The article also talked about their partnerships.
With HPC organizations, research institutions.
Smart move, right.
Absolutely. Get direct feedback from the people actually using your stuff.
Figure out what they need, what the problems are.
And then you build better solutions.
Yeah, it drives innovation.
And then there's the Mellanox acquisition in 2019. Huge.
Mellanox, they were the leaders in high-performance networking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Essential for connecting all those processors in those giant HPC clusters.
Yeah, you can have the most powerful processors in the world, but
if they can't talk to each other fast enough,
what's the point?
Bottleneck.
So they combine Mellanox's networking with their GPUs.
A complete HPC solution.
Muscle and speed, unmatched.
Let's talk about AI. It's everywhere these days, changing everything.
The article's right about that, and NVIDIA is at the forefront.
Leading the charge.
AI has the potential to transform so much. Transportation,
self-driving cars,
health,
diagnosing and treating diseases better.
And NVIDIA, they've been key in deep learning, the article said.
Yeah, the subset of machine learning that uses neural networks.
Powerful stuff.
And their GPUs are essential for training those networks.
Because of all that data.
Mountains of it.
And parallel processing.
Makes it possible.
The article highlighted natural language processing, computer vision, robotics.
All driven by deep learning.
And NVIDIA's right there.
Providing the tools, the platform.
And they're also trying to democratize AI, the article said.
The NVIDIA Deep Learning Institute.
Makes it easier for people to learn and get involved.
More AI experts, wider adoption.
Building the ecosystem.
It's a smart move.
The article talked about NVIDIA's strategy for growth. Acquisitions, partnerships. Yeah, the Mellanox deal in 2020, that's a prime example.
Yeah, 2020 for that one, just to clarify.
Right. Bolstered their data center capabilities, which are crucial for AI and machine learning.
HPC, too.
Yeah, they're offering this integrated solution, computing power plus networking.
Can't beat that.
And they've partnered with the big guys, too. Microsoft.
IBM, Amazon Web Services.
Working on those cutting-edge projects, getting their GPUs into Azure and all that.
Reaching a wider audience, becoming the default option.
And then there's the automotive partnerships. Audi, Mercedes-Benz, Toyota.
Self-driving cars.
Combining NVIDIA's AI with the car company's expertise. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, they're not just focused on one thing.
Adaptable.
That's the key.
But of course, it wasn't all smooth sailing.
No success stories.
The article mentioned some early challenges. They were up against giants like Intel and AMD.
Yeah.
How did they carve out their space?
They focus on graphics. They were the best at that. Better than the integrated solutions from the big guys.
So they won over the gamers and the creative professional.
Exactly. They built a niche and then dominated it.
And later, they did the same thing with HPC and AI.
Focused excellence.
Yeah.
Not trying to be everything to everyone.
And technically, they were always pushing the limits.
Inventing new technologies to keep up with the demand for better graphics, more powerful AI.
Which takes a lot of R&D, a lot of talent, the article said.
You need the best people to stay ahead.
And NVIDIA managed to do it.
They persevered, Kept innovating,
The article boiled it down to three things.
invest in R&D,
Build partnerships.
adapt to the market.
Sounds like a recipe for success.
It's worked for them.
What about sustaining that innovation? They've been going strong for a while.
It's one thing to have a breakthrough, another to keep innovating.
And the article says NVIDIA has done both.
They've always introduced those groundbreaking products.
The GPU itself, the AI solutions,
Change how we think about computing.
and they've built a culture of creativity.
Collaboration, encouraging people to think outside the box.
Yeah, the article emphasized that.
It's not just about the tech, it's about the people.
And they keep exploring new things.
Allocating resources to stay ahead of the curve.
So what are the key ingredients to their success, according to the article?
Continuous innovation,
Always coming up with something new.
a culture of collaboration,
Bringing those smart people together
and that big investment in R&D.
keeps them ahead of the game. Okay, let's wrap this up. What are the big takeaways from this deep dive into NVIDIA?
I think it's a story of transformation. They started with gaming graphics and became a major force in HPC and AI.
And that wasn't an accident.
No, it was strategic. Smart decisions, pushing the boundaries of technology.
Reading the market, adapting.
Absolutely. And for me, the name thing, NVIDIA, that's just great.
I know, right?
And CEDA, that's the real game changer. Opened up so many possibilities.
Yeah, and it shows how something that seems niche, like graphics, can have a huge impact.
Ripple effects across industries.
The power of parallel processing.
Can't underestimate that.
So here's a thought to leave you with. NVIDIA started by improving how we see digital worlds.
And now they're driving scientific discoveries, making self-driving cars possible.
So what's the next big thing? What's that seemingly niche technology today that could change everything tomorrow? Something to think about.
Definitely. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.